Those controversial punch card voting machines are getting a workout here in the days before the election. There are 2 set up here in the courthouse for demonstration purposes. There are others at the Democrat and Republican headquarters, and still others scattered throughout Dallas and Dallas County. The purpose of this is to let voters get as familiar with them as possible. There still will be demonstrations before the people use them at the polls, however, on November 5th. We got some comments from some of those people who had just seen the machines for the first time.
Well, I think it's a great improvement over the large, bulky booth. I think it's more efficient, and I think it will be an improvement in our voting technique.
You think it's understandable for people using it the first time?
Yes, I think it's very understandable.
For me, it's perfectly all right. I understand it. But what about someone that doesn't vote every 4 years?
I understood, but like I say, most people wouldn't. And I think if we use it during this first election, there's going to be a lot of dead votes cast.
Well, it is a far cry from the old ballots that we have been using, but I believe that it is going to work real well.
Think it's simple enough to understand how to use it?
Oh, yes. Anybody with any intelligence at all could operate this.
Very simple. A child could do it.
You don't think there'd be any problem with learning how to operate one the first time?
Oh, no. None at all.
The comments from a majority of the people indicate that they think the machines will work. Some even like them better than the others. But there are some who have doubts. The real test, of course, will come next Tuesday in the general election. This is Roger McDonald, Channel 8 News.
All 15 state representatives are elected at large in Dallas. So in theory, each of them represents all of the people of the county. Yet, there is virtually no way an individual can contact one of his legislators unless he happens to personally know one. The telephone directory does not have a listing under state offices for our legislators. Unless a citizen knows how one of his legislators is listed in the telephone directory, there is no way he can locate one of the 15 except by writing a letter to Austin. This relative anonymity of our legislators isolates them from the electorate, the people they are supposed to represent.
This particular time, I don't think I paid any attention to Mark being next to me prior to the race. I had my own race planned, and I was determined to stay with it, so I tried not to pay attention to Mark.
Almost immediately after you won the race, you climbed out of the pool and looked if you were praying near your starting block, were you?
Well, yes, at the moment I was a bit thankful that I had the opportunity to gain this victory, not for myself particularly, but more for Coach Easterling, who's worked many long hours, and for my mother, who's put in probably more than that.
What kind of strategy did you have set up prior to the meet?
Well, I had to have a more controlled 50. Before Oyster Racing, Mark, I went out fast because of my natural speed and died the last 3 or 4 meters. This time I wanted a controlled 50 and have more coming back. And it worked out perfect.
Did the race go just about as you expected?
Pretty much. I was a little slower than I really should have been at the 50, but at the time I was swimming easy and I didn't want to particularly move in on Mark, so I just stayed with the way I felt.
and it has these people sort of